You are now listening to the Fight Horizon podcast, hosted by Dan Rathmanner. Join him on his journey where you will meet people from all walks of life and their connection to jiu-jitsu. Now, with no further delay, let's fight the horizon.
Fight Horizon episode number 27 with the international man of mushroom himself, Daryl Halseth. Welcome back, sir. It's been since 15.
All right. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we're very glad to have you back on. I'm excited to get back on these podcasts and start pushing them out a little bit more. Like I mentioned to you before, we got you and another, I think, 3 other people coming up here. Yeah. So I'm excited about it. What's new, man? What's going on? How you been?
I've been doing good. I didn't even review the last podcast, but I know what I said, so it's in my mind. But I've been out doing my thing in the woods and harvesting different materials and using it in medicinal ways and helpful ways to help other people, and that's really what I've been busy with.
Cool.
Yeah. Let's see. I started out this spring and I harvested a lot of mullein leaf, which is basically kind of a weed. But the leaves of it you can turn into a tea. Some people even blend it with other smokable herbs and make it a smokable.
Really?
Yeah. But I use it for tea. And so I did that, and I try to do that in only springtime, because I get like the smallest leaves at the very center of the plant, and I only harvest in the springtime, and that's it.
Smallest leaves in the center of
like
plant.
There's a plant that's growing, and I want the fresh small ones, not the older ones that got all the dirt on them and that are starting to dry up.
Like young.
Right. So I try to pick what's the essence of everything, and that's kind of what I do is I hone in on only the best ingredient that I can use for my products.
Yeah. Mullein leaf, right? So you said that's kind of a weed.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, it's very common. It grows along the ditches. It's a biannual plant, and it's commonly grown in like disturbed soil or something like that. You'll see after
like turned up soil.
Yeah. Okay. Like the next year where they do a development, you'll see it growing everywhere on those piles of dirt and stuff like that.
So it's okay. Perfect. So it's like, I mean, completely not understanding what it is, but it's like dandelion.
Yeah,
more
it's like a dandelion
Okay.
seed that's in the ground, and then the ground gets disturbed, and then the seed grows.
Okay.
It just lays dormant for years and years and years, and then all of a sudden it grows.
Perfect.
It's like as simple as
What does that taste like? For tea, I guess. You said
it's
do
a tea.
smokables too.
Yeah. It tastes kind of fuzzy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know that's a weird description, but yeah, it tastes a little fuzzy.
That's cool. I'm
a
digging
little
it.
bit green.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's good for bronchial and respiratory issues.
Oh.
Yeah. So I have asthma, and so I've been doing this stuff for 7 or 8 years, going out in the woods and finding things, and I've just kind of come to the realization lately that all the things that I've been drawn to in nature, that I go back to again and again and again, all those things turned out to be things that can heal me personally, my body. So everything I'm experiencing in nature is drawing me to that which is going to heal me. And so I'm coming to that and going, is that really true? Is that what's happening? Because I'm trying to look at everything in my life going, what am I doing? Right. What's my purpose?
Right.
Why do I do these things? Sometimes I don't really know. But when I do get the answer, it's like, oh yeah, that's right. I was designed to do all of this. Okay. You know what I mean? So I get this overwhelming feeling of I'm in the right place at the right time doing exactly what I'm supposed to be doing. And that's pretty
tight.
rare. Yeah.
I mean, that's like what everyone shoots for.
Right, exactly. So
and this helps your breathing more daily type thing? Okay.
Yeah, so for example, the mullein leaf, respiratory issues, my asthma, right? And then I found chaga mushroom or chaga fungus, right? And I started making tea out of that. Well, that healed all my digestive issues I had, and I started losing weight, and then I started to get a healthier microbiome in my body, and that completely altered everything. Okay. So I lost 40 some pounds, and I got off of all the medications I was on, and
Off a chaga.
yes.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Why didn't we not go over that in 15?
No, we didn't. No.
That's
So
awesome. I mean,
I was on
great.
antidepressants and anti-anxiety, and it made me super fat, and it made me sick because I took it too long, and way too long. And so I got to a point years ago where I just tried to stop everything. I cold turkeyed my medications, and I know nobody recommends that, but that's what I did.
Yeah.
I mean, and just being honest, that's what I did.
That's awesome.
But it was very hard because I went through a withdrawal, and I had about 6 weeks later, I was still cleansing it out, and I got this point where I'd take a shower, and then I'd have these crazy itches all over my body, and I would just rash, and I would just scratch like nuts, like I didn't know what was happening, and I got really panicky about it after a while because it happened every time.
I would too.
And this went on for like a week, and I was starting to get scared of what and then it went away, and then I was like, okay, well, maybe it's just part of this whole cleansing process that I'm going through, and then I moved on, and so after I found the chaga, and that started, healing me and doing all that great stuff, and then I kind of evolved into different mushrooms that, I post all the time. Some of them medicinal, some of them are just cool photographs. But the other things that I'm drawn to was the St. John's wort herb.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
Right.
We don't have this on YouTube yet, or we won't because we don't have a camera going. But right now, he brought in some St. John's wort herb tea, right? And you make these yourself, obviously.
Yes.
It's a dragonfiretinderbox.com product.
Right.
Man, I got it. Yeah.
That's
All
great.
All right. But yeah, I mean, back to it. I mean, your antidepressants,
Yes.
all these medications,
Yeah.
and that's interesting
So,
because I was just thinking that
right.
this morning that the population is overly medicated in the first place,
Right.
and you're a success story.
I am.
Right.
Right.
And it's come from the chaga tea, right? The
Right.
adaptogens in there,
Yes.
I'm sure helped
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Right. So.
Well, I've learned a lot about my own body and things because I do listen to a lot of podcasts.
Me too,
man. I
too.
actually am kind of a podcast junkie. I mean, I do like probably 35 hours of podcasts a week.
That's a lot more than I do.
A week.
A lot more.
For the last year. So we're, over thousands of hours of listening. Okay, and then most of that was in the personal development range space, and then nutrition and health, and then psychology and things that were going to be, and so I just started consuming and digesting and breaking it down and filling in, what they say about information. Good information in, good information out.
That's right.
Same with garbage
Right.
in, garbage
Right.
out.
Right.
So I was just pouring it in. And even though sometimes I was finding and searching and listening and gleaning the slightest bit of information and how I would adapt that into my life, right? How I can use that, how I can leverage that.
Yeah.
That's everything I did.
Yeah.
Right. And so I found that what I was doing in nature, what I was doing inside my body, and when I was learning about my brain and how that works and how I can interact with everything in my environment, and the filter through which I experience everything in life has been cleaned. Nice. Okay. So I feel like I have this fresh, clean filter now, and that I can experience way more.
Yeah.
And I'm taking it in a lot more. Almost sometimes where I can't handle it, where I feel like my expansion is too much.
Right.
And so that's when I need to go back into my, more of a meditative space where I do, mindful thinking, mindful meditation, breathing, and that sort of thing to calm myself down, because I'm actually a really active, really fast kind of person. I work fast, I live fast, I do things fast.
You're naturally at a high RPM. Yeah.
Absolutely. And I go on to the next thing and the next thing and the next thing and the next thing, and then I connect all the dots, right? And the more dots you can connect together, the wider your perspective is, right? And so I've been connecting dots for like a year with listening to podcasts.
Yeah.
And really now, after a year, it's really starting to show some fruit, but it's taken a long time and a lot of effort and a lot of a lot of pain and a lot of suffering and a lot of deep introspection and a lot of emotions that I never used to experience because I was shut off.
Right.
And so that's been very difficult for me to process, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so in that, I go to nature, right? Nature was my thing. Nature was my guide. Nature was my healing, my medicine, and my safe space, right? So I spent a lot of time there.
A lot of time learning
in nature,
about it, right?
in nature, and then a lot of time learning about it. And so putting pieces together and figuring out how this is working in my life and how I can use it. And so I'm still in the process of putting the story together so I can help people, so I can share people, so I can add value to it and say, hey, well, this is what I experienced. This is what I did. Not that you have to do what I did, but maybe you could think about something like go out into nature and find yourself a plant friend, okay? Right? No, I'm serious. You go out into your yard, in the woods, and you can find a friend that's a plant that is like reaching out to you, that's been there the whole time, and it'll have something for you, right? Mm. It's true.
Okay. No, I get it, because the connections you're talking about it's very primal, right?
Right.
It should be a very primal instinct for us to do that, to connect with nature in a way, maybe not exactly the way you did it.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody else has got something else. I like the way where you kind of think, I did it this way. It doesn't have to be your way. That's great. That's a great way of thinking. But maybe you can take something from it, right?
Yeah.
Like I think we mentioned in 15, it's like people are disconnected these days. This disconnection makes almost an inhuman feeling in people, right? And it's just awesome that you cleaned your filter, right? This is awesome that, you've lost 40 pounds.
Yes.
And got off of prescription meds.
Yes.
And you did it cold turkey by using natural products, natural raw goods from the earth. That's crazy. That's a great story.
And on top of all that, I went through divorce, and so a lot of stuff, a lot of introspection, all the way. I introspected all the way back to actually the moment I was born.
Yeah.
Because I've done like hypnotherapy sessions.
Solid.
Okay.
And you meditate too, is what you mentioned, right?
Yeah. Okay. And so I've gone back to this space and connected with what you would call, I don't know what you would call it, but right now it's like non-local intelligence. Right?
Okay. Right. Okay. Which I get a little bit. I understand what you're getting.
Right.
Now, hypnotherapy, you meant like a session every month, a week?
No, see, I do a lot of video webinar stuff, and so there's like transmutation therapy and hypnotherapy that have come kind of blended together, where it's like really rapid. Okay, so it's not like you go to sessions for 5 years and maybe get one answer.
Right.
This is instantaneous because you go right to the source of the core of the issue, of the problem, which has been there your entire life.
But you've never seen it.
No, you didn't see it because your filter was blocking it out. Right? And so those kind of things is what I've been processing. So we're talking about emotional trauma and healing that. And what does that, is connecting with nature, right? But also you have to do the work. You have to do the shadow work. You have to look deep inside and go, oh my God, what kind of person am I?
And you have to
know what I mean?
You have to have the courage to do that, right?
You got to be able to accept that.
So that the connection with nature, your products, everything, does that help you maintain the clean filter, more or less?
Because my work, my passion, going out and doing things and breaking twigs and putting things together and all that is like therapy for me. So in that process, I get refreshed.
Yeah, running 100%, running 100 miles an hour at what you exactly want and what makes you feel good.
Yeah.
It's keeping you on keel, right?
It is. It is. And it's gotten to the point where it's almost on an autopilot.
Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
That's what you shoot for.
Yeah, right.
So everything instinctually happens.
Instinctually, yeah. You get to be inspired. You go out into nature and you get inspired by nature, right? Most people do. And so you have to take that inspiration and go, okay, now I'm going to use my intuition, my personal intuition, and then say, how what's the next step? What's the next move? And in that, sometimes you have to take that blind step, where you don't know, and you just walk off and
consciously,
go, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know why I'm going to do this, but I'm going to go give this away, or I'm going to do this for this person, or I'm going to whatever it is. Like, for example, Dragonfire Tinderbox is a lot of supports the bushcraft community, right? And so last week I donated a bunch of products to some guys down in Georgia that are having a camp out, a bunch of fire starting stuff, and other things that I sent, just a good goodie box, to share with all the people. And because my people in Georgia have been really good to me over the years and stuff, they've always been really great, and so I want to give back. And so that's one of the things that I do is I created this stuff and then I give it away sometimes.
Right, which is cool.
Yeah.
Right? That's hard work. That's knowledge. That's just so willing to help people. You don't find that. Everything's like a corporate call in if you got a problem, dial 9 for this guy, and but this is
there's no ROI.
Yeah,
I mean there is, but it's not monetary.
Right.
There's return on investment, but it's not a monetary return.
Right.
And
after all,
spiritual thing.
That's what we're here for, is trying to create a better world in the long run, because we're not going to always be here, right?
Yeah.
We're going to be dead and gone, and if anybody can remember us, that's great. But if you made a change in this world, if you made a difference, if you influence somebody with your products, that's what you're shooting for. That's what everyone's shooting for.
Yeah.
Everyone's just selling a different product.
I think so.
Yeah.
I just I really enjoy it. It's like it's hard to accept sometimes that I'm doing this and I'm not. I've always been a nonconformist, I would think, because I'm a Gen Xer.
Yeah.
I was a teenager, 87.
Yeah.
And so nonconformity was like, anti everything. So
Yep.
I never fit in really well.
Yep.
And so doing my own thing was always so natural for me, because I knew that the other thing that everybody else was doing wasn't for me.
Right.
I knew that instinctively when I was like 12.
Right. Yeah. And that's all. I only look at that as a good thing, right? Because if you're just like everyone else, I'm not going to be a cookie cutter person,
right?
Like your neighbor that lives in the same box that you live in or drives the same box you have,
right? And you want to share your podcast, your experiences with your people. You want to deliver value to your listeners,
right? And
so you do that by bringing a variety of different things to them, so they can have different perspectives.
We're two peas in a pod, man.
Right?
You and me. I'm digging this tea too, by the way.
Yeah.
I it's been a while since I've had tea, but I'm a guy that has like all kinds of teas in the cabinet. Yeah. So I love this.
Good.
This is good. Thank you for it.
Yeah. Well, thank you. That box is for you. So.
Excuse me as I choke. All right, man. Thank you for sharing that. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That was awesome to hear. I love the success story. I don't think we could start off the podcast any better way. You mentioned bombs, right?
Yeah.
You have first aid and healing bombs.
Yes.
Now, can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure.
Yeah.
I make a variety of skincare products. Some of them have different specific purposes, like one is anti-itch, one is more of a cuts and scrapes healing, that first aid healing balm, and then I have a couple other ones that are really just kind of an overall use every day because you like the smell and it's really good for you.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
And so some are very specific and some are just, I really like this combination, right? And I used to live on a hobby farm, and behind the chicken coop at this hobby farm, I found these plants growing, and I didn't know what they were. And this was like 8 years ago, and then I did some research and I found out what it was, and I'd come to discover that the original people that immigrated to this place from Germany brought these herbs with them and grew them there from the 1800s.
In the back there.
Yeah. And so that's how a lot of the farms around here have this herb, right, growing around their farmstead. And so I started using that, and I made my first skin balm with it, the comfrey plant.
The comfrey
plant, yeah.
Is it a K or a C?
It's a C.
Oh, God.
And so
illicit.
It has a bunch of different common names, like bone knit or something, because it's been used as a poultice or wounds or things like that. And so it has a lot of healing properties for your skin, right? And so I made one out of that, and I did some research, and it worked, right? Even though it was pretty minimal compared to what I'm doing now. Yeah. But I saw some pretty good results, and then I took off with that, and I started going more herbs and more oils and better ingredients and better essential oils and more purposes and things like that.
Okay.
And so I use all organic. I harvest wildcraft it myself from nature, most of it.
Yep.
In fact, there's a few plants like the St. John's wort herb that I harvested this year. I used to have to buy that from a place in Oregon, right? Because I didn't know where it was. Well, it was right under my nose the whole time. All this time it's been here. And I just wasn't aware of it, and I didn't know enough about it. So everything is right there outside your back door. You know, you just really have to look at it and say, what is that? You mean you can eat this stuff in my yard? Yeah, sometimes you can.
Is that comfrey plant, is that native to the Midwest?
I don't know 100% if it is or isn't.
Okay.
But I know that a lot of this area and these counties have it growing in this area because of the German immigrants that brought it over.
Okay. Cool. The community that they
Yes,
grew it, right?
yes.
Okay. That's a nice little piece of information.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
And so that began my process of different herbs and uses and how to make things out of it, you know. And I learned craftiness from my grandmother.
Yeah.
You know,
I think we all do, right?
She used to make all kinds of stuff. She'd make our clothes and
Yep.
everything, you know. So
Yep.
she would make all kinds of fun stuff, and I got that from her.
Solid. Passing on knowledge, man.
Yeah.
As I'm sure you're passing on to the next generation, right?
Right.
Your daughter's probably a
Yeah.
lot involved
She
a lot
is.
of this.
She is. She can go through the woods and point out a lot more than a normal 11-year-old can.
That's gotta make you feel good.
Yeah,
That's
that's
gotta
really
make
cool.
you feel good. Yeah, I mean,
we go to a camp and a couple of years ago, and she was like pulling up plants and teaching the other kids, and you know,
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean making the mark on the world, right? Passing knowledge to the next generation.
Yeah.
St. John's wort herb.
Yeah.
Underneath our noses the whole time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. That's been here the whole time.
So it's obviously native to the Midwest, right?
It is. It's like a prairie flower,
Okay.
I would call it.
Okay.
And the herb itself has been used for thousands of years, all the way back to Roman times and ancient times. So, and like I said before, it's kind of a neutral. So it's like a lot of people can use it and benefit from it. Whereas you don't have to worry about, if I'm doing this, can I take it? And you know, yeah, you can still take it. You know, for
right.
I mean, you know what I mean? There's always
it's
a
not
window
Yeah.
of usability in different plants for different people. It's not everything for everybody.
Not harmful to the stomach, you know,
Right,
not
right.
bad to combine with this other stuff.
Right.
No, I gotcha.
It's so useful. It can be used for anything, you know. And I made the tincture out of it, the alcohol tincture,
Okay.
which is a lot higher concentrate than the
Okay.
tea form. And this is made with organic vodka.
Okay.
And so I have, you're not seeing this, but it's a 2-ounce bottle, eyedropper bottle with alcohol and St. John's wort tincture. So I put the herb in the jar and then filled it with the alcohol and then let it sit for about, I think it was like 2.5 weeks.
Okay.
And then it basically breaks it down inside the jar, and then you siphon it off the top and put it in this bottle.
Oh, so the like organic vodka helps pull or extract the nutrients
totally
out.
breaks it down. And then it becomes this layered level where you see the plant material down on the bottom, and then the alcohol rises to the top, and that's got this color red to it from the plant.
Oh, cool.
Right?
Like,
and so
okay.
you know, it's in there.
Color
you
red.
know what I mean? Yeah, it's
Yeah,
red.
yeah.
St. John's blood.
Yeah.
That's the flower. There's a little yellow flower, and then when you squish it in your fingers, it'll
turns
turn your
red.
fingers red.
And that's why they call it St. John's.
That's where it comes from. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Dude, yeah, that's why I love having you on the podcast. I learned all this nice stuff. Like, I'm going to be able to walk through and just pick one thing out of the forest and be like, hey, Daryl told me about that. I know what
Right?
this is.
I've done that with a lot of people.
Yeah?
Yeah. A lot of people have done that and told me that. Oh, I found this one thing because you told me that one time. I'm like, yeah, all right, cool.
Well, there you go, man. See, you never really see or hear the splashes, right? I'm sorry,
That's
you see
true,
or hear the
yeah.
splashes, but don't see the ripples.
Well, that's true. You know, I mean, when I started out making fire starter products, and I sold 40 or 50,000 units of product, but I only got like 15 reviews.
Right.
You know?
Oh, it's always slow
so
like
it's
that.
so small, so you don't get a lot of feedback of, oh, it's working, it's doing the right thing, and it's helping people, and oh my God, they're really benefiting from it. And like the first aid balm, I mean, when I really got reviews on that and found out what people were doing with it, I had to really I had to step back, because sometimes, and this was a hard lesson for me, when you create a product and you have a vision in your mind of what the product is for and how it's used,
For maybe
and
one
then
or
you
two
put it on the
things.
market, people do whatever they want to do with that product once they have it. So you have to release it to the world and say, okay, that's cool. You can do that if you want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like designing a car, but it's not going to be a car. It's going to be a boat.
People will do things that isn't necessarily what you thought would happen, but if they're getting results from it and benefits from it, then it's okay, you know.
Yeah.
Then you just have to well, I'm glad it's working.
Right.
You know.
Right. And so the healing balm, what were
Yeah.
people using it for that were different than what you were thinking?
Oh, just different skin issues and, you know, diaper rash maybe, and hives and eczema and, you know, stuff that I didn't even think of. All I knew when I created this was this herb is really good. This herb is really good. This is the best oil I can buy. This is the best essential oil I can get. And in this combination is what I'm making. That's the only thing I focused on.
Yeah.
I didn't think about all the issues or what people would use it for or whatever. I just see my gift is naturally picking out the essence of nature and putting it in a package and sharing it with people.
Yeah. You're like a mad scientist, man. You're a mad scientist of the forest. This is great.
Yeah.
I love hearing that. Because, I mean, when you generate a product and it's just, I mean, I say product, and it almost feels like it insults what it is, right? But you generate something, you make it for other people, and it works in a wide range. I mean, that's what every company shoots for, right? Like, I mean, obviously, it's not like making guns and then it can be used in a wide range, but it's using solutions that are, you know, natural and helping people, and that's really solid.
It's
really
the power of nature, and you know, I don't take the credit. I don't. I'm just a vehicle through which everything goes through me, and I'm sharing it out, and you know, trying to share the value that I've found with other people. And so in that process, I am still, like I said, I'm still working on my story and my thing, and the whole thing is evolving, and it's not like a done deal. It's going to continue on, and I'm excited about what it'll be like a year from now.
Right.
What I'll be growing my own mushrooms, and I'll be, you know, who knows what, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, man, you should write a book.
Yeah.
Yeah. You ever thought about doing that?
I have thought about it a little bit. Maybe when I'm like 60. I got a ways to go.
It's 60. I got time on my hands.
my manifesto or something.
There you go. There you go. Oh, yeah. That's awesome to hear. I mean, this is why I like having you on your podcast. It's always interesting, always flavorful. What else?
So, yeah, where can you find me?
Yeah, where can I find you?
Probably on Instagram a lot right
there
now.
You go, man.
I'm really I'm going a lot towards more Instagram and putting my best content there. But you can DM me on Instagram or message me on Facebook Messenger. Really, that's really the best way to contact with me in person if you want me to work with you on some kind of thing.
Yep.
I can give advice and I can give my recommendation and what might be able to do for you.
Yeah.
And so, you know, feel free. I want people to reach out to me and connect with me. I don't want to say, yeah, you got to go to my website and buy my product.
Right.
No, I want you to contact me and talk with me and text with me and message with me, and then I can put together something that will be beneficial for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, I think everyone's going more towards Instagram these days. Right?
For sure.
It seems more, not really interactive, but definitely a little bit more of responding back a little bit better.
Yeah.
Oh. So
yeah.
what's I think last time we talked about beard balms too.
Beard balm.
How are those going?
I think they're great.
Yeah?
I have two different kinds.
Okay.
Right? I have one called Evergreen Dream.
Okay.
Which is arborvitae and juniper berry essential oil. So it has a real evergreeny kind of smell to it. Okay. And the other one is made out of birch oil, raw birch oil that is extracted from birch bark. And let me go through this process real quick with you because it's really amazing. You take birch bark off the tree, the white birch, right? But not just any birch bark. You gotta have the fresh stuff, like maybe a tree fell over in a storm and it's been there maybe a year, right? And the bark is loose, but it's not decomposed yet. So you slice open that bark and it's got a pinkness on the inside and it's got a color because it's got that oils in it, right? And so I take a large can, like a popcorn tin that you'd get in the holidays, fill it with birch bark, right? But in the bottom of that tin is a tiny pinhole, a nail hole on the bottom. And underneath that nail hole is a can buried in the ground, right? And so you got a can buried in the ground, and then a tin on top of that with a hole in it filled with birch bark, and then you put the lid on top of that to not let any oxygen in it, and then you build a fire around the entire thing, and you cook it with a fire for 30 minutes, and you don't open it, and you let it cool. You don't even touch it. All you do is make the fire, and what you're doing is you're cooking that bark inside that metal tin, inside that can with no oxygen, and all the oil drips out of that little thing and that little hole into my collection tin that's buried in the ground. Okay? And so this is a long process. And so after it cools down and the fire's gone, you slowly remove the ashes and the stuff, and you pull out your can, your collector tin, and you got this black oil that's like thicker than tar, right? And it's so powerful, right? It's absolutely great stuff, right? And so I'll use that. It can be used as like a leather treatment, or like wood handles on axes and stuff. That's what a lot of survivalists love it for. Or they'll take the oil and keep the mosquitoes away because it's really stinky.
They'll put it on their neck and their face.
Yeah, they'll rub the oil on them. And so, but I took it and I took some of that oil and I put it into one of my balm products that I designed for beards, right? And so it has a small amount of this raw birch oil that smells like campfire and wood ash, right? And then inside that is...
I love that smell.
Inside that is a little bit of like a musky... it's an incense wood that came from Indonesia that I bought that's kind of rare and expensive. Okay, so I added this really high quality musky essential oil that I got that I can't get anywhere else to make this blend. Because I wanted to blend this masculine musky smell that you get from this incense wood with campfire and birch oil.
Killer combination.
It is.
Killer. Yeah. I
think it is.
It's like,
it's so out there that people are like, I don't understand.
It's a painting for your nose. That's what it is. That's awesome.
So you put it on just a little bit, and man, it's great.
I'm gonna have to get some from you.
Yeah.
I mean, this is like only one of the times where I can actually maintain a beard. I don't know why. I don't know how it happened. It's great. I love it. I'm gonna get some for you.
Yeah. So what I did is I looked at what's on the market as far as beard balms, and it's super popular, and I was not gonna just copy and paste some product and make something cheap. I did it my way.
Yeah.
I went out into nature and I created that, and there's so much work into it. I can't even get a price for it that's worth the effort. Really? I mean, so I'm almost giving it away.
Right.
I'm selling it, but it's
it's
not a profit.
Yeah. How do you track the labor?
The hours and labor. It's ridiculous. So it's kind of like a one-trick pony where you're like, that's all I can do. There it is. I did it once, man.
Enjoy
it, right? But whatever.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah, no,
it's the process.
It's
the process. Just like the process of healing, the process of growing, and life in general. You got to enjoy the process.
Yeah.
And forget about the goal. Forget about the goals that will come if you're still in it. If you're in the moment. If you're living it every day, and just being there and doing it, being present. Right.
Yeah. Oh no, I 100% agree. I mean, it's not about the destination, right? It's about the path that you walk and how you walk it, and if you go off the path,
right?
If you go on the path, it's all about you. You gotta enjoy it, and that's. I mean, a lot of the podcasts that I'm doing here, right? Not the numbers when we're on 27. That's great, but it's not about the quantity.
Yeah.
It's about the quality of the people that you have on, right? It's about the message that you send. It's about, trying to see the ripples.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I said before, I've said it a lot of times on these podcasts, but splashes you can see, right? It's the ripples that you don't see that really are going to surprise you at the end of your life.
Yeah.
Surprise you as you go on in life, as you're walking the journey. So spreading positivity.
Okay.
Like I said, two peas in a pod here, man.
No, really great.
Yeah, it's good.
I'm glad you get it. And I know a lot of people get it. And the ones that don't, I kind of just go, okay, I'm empathetic to that. but I got to move on.
Right.
You know, I got to do my thing.
Right.
It's not for everybody.
And to sit down and have just a conversation where you and I, honestly and morally, can come across with this message.
Yeah.
And people can't do that anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean, it's all about not showing too much of yourself, because then all of a sudden you're not. I'm not gonna.
Authentic.
Cool. Authentic.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I cry like a lot.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not afraid to express my feelings and my emotions, and I find myself being emotional about stuff that I don't really understand, and that's because my filters are clean now.
Yeah.
And I am experiencing it in such a more magnified way, so I am learning how to reprocess better, right? So I'm not overwhelmed, and I don't have to drug myself,
Right.
or do whatever to numb out.
To have people tell you, this is the way you're supposed to be.
Or to have people, I don't. Yeah, exactly.
I'm not going to try to
do that.
I'm not going to try to be somebody else that I'm not for other people. And the amount of things that people do to do that is insane.
And they'll kill themselves doing that because
Right.
it becomes
Right.
dis-ease in their body, which turns into disease.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Right.
If you're not doing your
that.
purpose, it becomes dis-ease.
Yeah.
And you're not comfortable and you're not happy in your life.
Right. Right. I mean, that's the purity of that, and trying to live that is hard. And hard is an understatement for people to going through things like that. But it's you got to just start running at things you love. You just got to start running head first without even looking what's in front of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then you're gonna get the feeling that you had, right?
Right.
I don't know why I'm doing this.
Right.
I don't know why I'm giving these products, right? Air
Yeah.
quotes products away. I say air quotes products because they're not products. They're time that you've built. There's time that you've spent on them. There's time that you've given to other people.
Yeah.
Right. And which
It's like a gift from nature.
exactly right. And our biggest commodity is time.
Yeah.
And that's what we're trying to spread through here. So.
Yeah, I want to encourage people to, kind of find their own way to connect with nature, and just like I said, make a friend. Go out there with an open mind and go, what can I learn, and be curious, and what is that, and how does that work, and what does it do?
Take a minute, breathe,
Right?
walk out there,
Yeah.
find something you didn't know.
Yeah.
And again, hit them up on Instagram, Facebook,
thank
anything. It's I like talking to you. I like having you in the gym. I like that you share your knowledge with the generation to come.
Yeah.
It's a lot of connections, a lot of good feelings, a lot of good things to come from you, and I expect to have you on here again.
Good. Awesome.
I love having you on here. All the tea and everything. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
It is my pleasure. You were the best warm up from my long ease of podcasts coming on. I was excited coming out here. DragonFireTinderbox.com.
Yep.
Look it up. Otherwise, hit up Daryl Halseth on Instagram.
Yep.
Is there like a...
I'm also Dragonfire Tinderbox on Instagram.
Boom. There it is. And and Facebook, man. I will be putting up your website. Probably mention your Instagram as well, too.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, on my Instagram. Instagram. So
I'll share it for sure.
And we'll get a picture after this, and I think that's good.
Awesome.
All right. Thank you again, sir. I appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you for listening. Please like and share Fight Horizon on Facebook, follow on Instagram, and drop by fighthorizon.com for more episode details, deals, and show dynamics. Like always, fight the horizon.